Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm Fulvia. I'm again with you this evening. Hello, good evening, Bernadette. Thank you for joining. Okay, I'm with you this evening for the journey to the tarot, and this evening we are going to look at the chariot. And hello, Julian. Thank you for joining. Um, I don't know how much information could fit in only one card, but believe it or not, it's all in here. And strength is another major arcana where there's quite a lot to say to so bear with me. Bear with me if I. Hello, Mabel. Hello, thank you for joining. Bear with me if I use, a little bit of my notes as well, because it's a lot of information. Well, if we take back from last Monday, uh, we have seen, like, the link between the major arcana number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6, meaning the empress, the emperor, the hierophant, and lovers. So, in just to sum up briefly, because otherwise going through too much of information, we have we have seen how the three major arcana links together: the empress representing the natural world, and being also the counterpart of the emperor representing the society, and the hierophant instead, the the nurturing father, the nurturing parent, and finally, um, the lovers, like the adolescent child that is starting to come to the awareness of their personality, of their individuality. They want to make their own their own choices. They start being a little bit rebellious to, they don't want to obey to their parents anymore. We have gone through all the symbolism, all the traditions that you can find in each arcana, major arcana, starting from the Fool, and getting till the lovers. And this evening we I will start talking about um, the chariot. The chariot is the major arcana number 7. And here as well, as I said before, um, there's a lot to say. Okay, last week I told you how in the Rider Waite deck there was the dramatic change of the sixth major arcana, the Lovers, where originally was represented by a couple and a person in between them. Here, the brother Edward Waite changed it completely. The imagery and put in, okay, same things in till a certain degree happened with the Chariot. Oh, by the way, I got everything fixed back with my headset, so really happy this evening. And the same happened as well with the Chariot. When I talk, I'll put the card close to so you can see what I'm talking about. Originally, the chariot was pulled by two horses, and I remember that because I've seen a deck where there were horses and not sphinxes. And this is the major change that was introduced in the Rider Waite deck. Now, the link, um, the chariot during the Roman Empire, warriors, heroes, or winners of a competition, they would run around the city or in the Colosseum. Hello, Diane. Um, on a chariot, and they would be celebrated. Sorry. So this really represents, um, the chariot represents the hero, the winner, and in the Kabbalistic tradition, this card is called the victory. So, um, but um, but the chariot requires more than celebrating a victory. The what we find is really the will. A person must be able to, you know to control the horses that carry the chariot, and in this case the sphinxes. And if you see, the charioteer doesn't hold any reins. So basically, the message here is that the control is coming from his will. He's so it's 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 the charioteer is at a stage of his life where he is mature, and is mature enough to control, not to control, to have a focus, and through that focus, the strong will to keep his life in balance. Another, beside the Roman Empire, we find also and I wanted to mention this, because to tell you about this, because I find it fascinating. Certain myths coming from other cultures. For example, in the Hindu myth, the Hindu myth recounts of Shiva destroying a city of the demons, and in order to do so, he needed a chariot. So basically, this this myth, this account says that um, mm, the gods basically made a chariot for Shiva, using themselves the heavens, the earth, as materials, and the sun and the moon became the wheels of the chariot, and the wind the horses. Now mm, and this is also another, you know, another myth where the archetype of the chariot has been, has been drawn to, and um, and the major arcana has been created. But let's see, let's go also through the rest of information, the symbolism. We can see um, this this symbol here. I don't know if you can see it, the red one, but if you have a rather weight tarot deck, you can check it. This symbol here is called the lingam and ioni, and representing the Shiva and Parvati, masculine and feminine, and through, through this myth, um, and the images, and we learn that the spiritual victory arrives mm, when we focus all the our mature unconscious energy, and when we focus this we focus this energy, and with our will, even if we tend too much on this side, we risk to stay too much in the logic, and become stagnant. So Shiva gets basically his victory uh, by focusing the force of the spirit, rather than uh, focusing on his spirit rather than on the ego. And mm, and we can say that the chariot represents um, the process of maturation, and the learned the learned lessons, um, because if we go back, to the lovers, we see there how Um, as I was saying before, the adolescent period of self creation has been passed when we get to the chariot, and it nearly feels like being tested, like a test. And we see a mature man, which is, confident, an adult, successful in life, um, which is it's admired, and is content, of being, being able of um, controlling his feelings, and direct his will. um Here as well, if you see, the charioteer holds a magic wand as well, like, as same as the magician, uh, but the this wand is not directed to the heavens. So the charioteer relies only on himself, on the power of his will. That's why he holds the wand here, and with a stable grip, and he relies on him completely on himself. He's self confident. Doesn't need the approval from anybody. Um, as I said, confident, mature, successful, content with himself. Mm, so, at the same time, as I said before, he's on a chariot. The chariot is being, these things, but there are no reins, and this is also another indicator, um, another indicator of the ability of the charioteer to direct the opposite forces that are represented by the two sphinxes, but we'll get there. um, and the Ione, um, um, it's also, in the Hindu myth and tradition, it's an indication of mature, um, mature sensuality that is not controlling. Um, mm, and the glowing star here on his crown. The glowing star here has 8 points instead of 5, or instead of 6. And there's also, as you can see on his chest, there's this square here. It's a glowing square, and this glowing square, it's a symbol. Um, it's a symbol of nature, which links the chariot with the Empress. So we find um, elements of other major arcana in this one, and then going forward, there are the other uh, four that I mentioned at the beginning. Um, the star here in his crown, and eight pointed, represents his passions that um, are directed by his strength of mind. The desires and the passions doesn't control him. He's the charioteer is well well aware, and it's him to, you know, uses his will to cultivate his passions. Hello, Kathleen. Hello. Um, and you can see also here, you can see here that the chariot itself, it's mm, takes nearly the whole image takes nearly the whole card, and it's the chariot is it's bigger than the city behind it, um, meaning that his will is stronger than the rules of society. But uh, the fact that the chariot is not moving is still, it doesn't mean that he is a rebel. Hello, Crystal. Hi. Hello, Prudence. Hello. It doesn't mean that it doesn't let him um, ruled by the law of society, but at the same time is not a rebel because he's well able to control his emotions um, through his will. Um, and the wheels, I know it's difficult to see, but again, um, if you have a rather weight tarot deck with you, you can check. The wheels are half in the water and half on the earth, so they have a double, they double meaning, like um, he's not completely in contact with his unconscious self, and at the same time, he draws the energy from the water, um, even if doesn't have complete, is not completely in touch with his unconscious. As I said before, the water can represent emotions, but also the unconscious mind, unconscious part of ourselves. Um, and the skirt, I looked with my magnifying glass, and the skirt has symbols of ceremonial, um, uh, of rituals, basically, and there are um, on the on his belt the planets. Um, then on the shoulders here, he has the two lunar faces, um, called urine and turmalin, and these are the signs of the high priest in Jerusalem. So as we saw um, last week, 2 week like last week. Uh, so this is is referring to the Hierophant. Um, and at the same time refers to the High Priestess, because on the in the High Priestess we find the the moon and the half moon. And you can see also at the back the veil. Um, but with the chariot, the chariot is um, the veil represents more his the part of the unconscious he hasn't accessed yet, whereas um, on the High Priestess, the veil is divides the two, the world seen and the world unseen. Okay, and we see all the symbolism from the previous arcana, as I said before, the wand for the magician, and the water and the water and the sphinxes for the high priestess, the green earth for the empress, and the the shoulder plates there for the hierophant, um, and the lingam and the iony is linked to the lovers, the masculine and the feminine side. If you There's the recording. Can go through that again. Um, the charioteer stands on his, mm, the charioteer stands on the chariot. It's made of stone. Um, you remember also the emperor is sitting on a throne made of stone, um, and his mind basically subordinates all things to his conscious will. So he acts. It basically means that he acts consciously. He is consciously powerful. Uh, Consciously powerful, is consciously knows what he's doing, doesn't let the emotions take over. um, but as I said, as I was saying before, but if this um, becomes a pattern in the behavior, um, there might be a separation from um, the there might be a separation from from the forces that he learned to control. And when this happens, hello Angie, hello Amy, when this happens, it means that spiritually, our mm, desire to control our ego is stronger. It becomes more a negative, a negative connotation. And the black the black and white sphinxes, um, they are next to each other, but um, they look in separate ways. In separate, they look at different directions. And mm, if you see, they are separated, they don't touch each other. um, and the charioteer keeps them in balance. And if the charioteer um, should should lose his will, um, all of the chariot could fall apart. Basically, everything is kept in balance by his will. It's all an analogy, and it's all a metaphor represented here. A metaphor, yeah, an analogy. Um, Jung's This could be seen also through Jung's theory of the persona. And so basically, as we grow, we create the persona that interact with the outer world. Uh, we create that mask, and the persona that um, other people, you know, also put together, our society, our family, and so on and so forth. So to in order to um, when we are challenged, when the chariot is challenged, when we successfully get over the challenges that we face in life, we the the aspects the aspects that are symbolized also by the other major arcana um, are integrated into this ego mask. However, it could happen, we can confuse this um, successful person with the true self, to the point that um, if we try to drop the mask, um, it would be scaring to drop all our belief system. It could be also seen in the key of the dark night of the soul. Um, and it's like when we drop our mask, our belief, everything, our constructed self, it feels like um, the death of who we used to be, and can be scary because mhm, we could get to the point we don't know who we are anymore when we're in between the transformation, shredding the old and acquiring the new. It's um, it's a daunting, it's challenging, it's daunting. Um, and when we look at the chariot from the perspective, we walk away from the perspective of the individuality, and we look at it as um, let's say a collective. Sorry, a collective. Um, we can see that the chariot is able to create order out of chaos, um, using the natural world as raw material. Um, in the Kabbalistic tradition, mm, in the Kabbalistic tradition, the chariot corresponds to the Hebrew letter E. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. En, which carries the quality of speech. And we know that words have meaning and the words have power. But from this um, the Kabbalistic point of view, when we use words to label everything or to describe everything, we are focused too much on the label, we are focused too much on the description to give an explanation for everything um, that we miss the experience. And really um, what the important part is to experience everything from a spiritual point of view. Mm, that's also what the Kabbalistic traditions sees. Um, the two sphinxes, where do they come from? Um, the other weight took this from Eliphas Levi, which is a major Kabbalist, and they they represent duality, the duality and contradictions of life. The duality is a theme very present um, in the which is also in the rather weight, and not only. And the Sphinx in the Greek legend, they were riddlers. They would give riddles to people, and if were not able to resolve the riddle, they would be they were devoured basically. So it's it's a way of saying that if you are not aware of the strengths and weaknesses of life, life will destroy you. And in conclusion, um, the chariot symbolizes maturity, accepting the limits of life, rational understanding, um, which control existence, and most of all, the power of our will, or the power of someone's will. And this is the chariot. I knew it would have been a long one. Sorry. Ow. And this is with the chariot. Basically, the chariot concludes the first line of um, the the way the major arcana were structured. And we go to the strength now, the major arcana, the strength, which I and with the strength as well. Um, the rider weight is a deck that had a profound impact on the decks that followed, because from this deck onwards, all decks made after the rider weight are based on the rider weight. Um, Here as well, there's a change, and between strength, the major arcana number 8 used to be justice, and Albert Waite changed with he switched strength as major arcana number 8 and justice as major arcana number 11. And basically, he did that because he wanted to follow. Um, Apparently, there is mm, there's um, a tarot deck created by the Order of the Golden Dawn, and they made this change in that deck, and Rider Waite wanted to match the tarot deck. Um, and mm, with Now I need, sorry, I have my other notes here. Um, when we think about the switch that has been um, made, if when we think at the major arcana, at the justice major arcana suggests like we make an assessment of our life. That's what really another meaning that we can see. Mm, and when we you know and what this assessment means to us, and if we see that um, we bring, when we assess our life, we can see, okay, what have I done so far, what have I made with my life so far, and we can start seeing where there's meaning in our life, or the things that really we can get uh, are not so important. So we bring this meaning um, inward with us, and this is what the message, the hidden message also of justice give us. And when we get to um, to the wheel of fortune, mm, we find we find that there's we feel that completion with ourselves, and if we are satisfied with it. But when we look at the major arcana of justice, the the sword has a double, um, implies the sword implies that the double sword edged implies also actions, um, action on the assessment that we have made on our life. Um, and we this when we make mm, when we go inward, then we go to the next phase. We can find it in the hangman. You might ask, Fulvia, what this has to do with the strength card, with the major arcana? It all comes, you see, it all comes back to together. Um, with the hang, I will say on with the next phase is, going to the hangman mode. Um, Now the strength, the major arcana, the strength, it's in between major arcana, the justice, and the hanged man. We can see here a woman, clearly, like everybody knows, taming a lion. Um, so the image can could suggest the strength of the unconscious that being released, that is calm and is tamed um, by the conscious by conscious understanding of it. Because when we don't understand it, it's when we might act hera- heretically. But this is a release. It's a conscious release. A conscious release and calm. Um, and basically, we can also give the strength, the qualities, um, for searching inward, and certainly the quality for searching inward ourselves cannot be given to the ego, but only to a, a conscious a conscious self. Um, so what we need to do is to really, being aware of our feelings, being aware of our desires, and that are, you know deep deep hidden in our thoughts, and But at the same time, if we try to transform ourselves, um, using a a complete rational process, um, we can't we can risk to create another persona. So then there are two. Mm. So, and this is something that can happen to people. They might um, they might present themselves differently in different situations, and when uh, we try to be accepted, we try hard to be liked, um, and when this process doesn't happen organically, doesn't happen, but is more a controlled, it's not spontaneous, it doesn't work. um Sorry, just a second. Okay, so when we do this, instead of following the process of releasing, even if it's a fearful process, instead of following that process of releasing our um, mm, hidden fears, our hidden desires, and they're basically we create um, something that it's something that is an imitation, and is fake, and is not real, and is not authentic. um, the fact that this major arcana is the number 8, um, is it's nearly set next to the chariot, with a different a different type of power. Not the power, um, not the ego's will, but um, the inner strength, that inner strength that we need to confront ourselves. And we can see it here, um, how, especially it nearly seems that the woman is petting the lion, and it's a lion. The lion looks nearly like, um, behaving like a dog, and that's the strength that this major arcana wants to convey. We can tame the lion, between us, but we need to understand what we are taming. And um, this shouldn't happen through the ego, the control, but more through our consciousness, the consciousness of ourselves. And the lion represents also um, our feelings, our fears, and the desires and confusions um, that the ego suppressed in order to control life. And we have seen how the charioteer was um, using his feelings, drawing on his feelings um, as drawing on his feelings as source of energy, and how he was able to direct this energy where he wanted to. No, strength uh, instead allows our um, allows our inner passion um, to emerge. And the first step is to to this for this to happen. The first step is going beyond our ego. So basically, our suppressed um, our suppressed feelings at times maybe uh, can lead us to act herac, 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 erratic behavior. We can have an erratic behavior, or we can act um, also we can have an immature behavior as well. Um, and on a deeper level, the lion also can have um, symbolizes the whole force of the personality, mm, which has to be, has had to come to terms with the demands of the society. Um, but if we are courageous enough, we can get back our um, our real, our real personality. Um, we can retrieve it and still have and still be being part, you know, of the society um, without creating um, creating mm, drama for ourselves or for others. And strength also release the energy for us, um, mm, to move us along the path of the hermit. And um, and this can be accomplished only because the lion is tamed. So basically, in simple words, we can move along our spiritual path in the moment we become conscious of ourselves. We retrieve our true self, our true personality, so we can move forward along the path of spiritual growth, of spiritual enlightenment. That is the reason why we are here. And the strength um, opens ourselves to the possibility, to the opportunity to retrieve um, um, ourselves. And this happens in a peaceful and harmonious way, with a sense, with love as well, without drama. um, and we go through this process um, with confidence. It's basically, we know what we are doing, we know how the process works, we are aware of this. Okay, I know it's 9 o'clock. I don't know if I can continue another 5 minutes. Hmm. And basically the symbolism on the card here also and the pictures and the numbers. Just a second, I'll take the two of them between. I'm referring to the chariot and strength. Um, mm, Reinforces the comparison between the two major arcana. The chariot shows a man and strength, a woman. Traditionally, mm, this represents rationality and emotion. aggression and surrender. See, we are still on the duality, the polarities. Um, and also traditionally, the number 7 of the chariot belongs belongs to the male magic, and the number 8 to the female. Um, and this is basically the numbers refers to anatomy, the anatomy of the man, and the anatomy of of a male, and the anatomy of a female. So nothing um, is left or is put there uh, by chance. Um, I would like to continue next Monday on this, and it's nearly at the end of the strength um, major arcana, but there's a part coming which is interesting to know, and well, I can. Okay, the esoteric theory considers considers basically considers the sexual energy as a manifestation of the energy principles that um, underlying the whole universe. Um, Especially because male and female, they are the um, similar to the positive and negative poles of electromagnetism, and and through the manipulation of this energy, um, it is defined like the magic the magic happens as a result. And on the other hand, the occultists consider this as this way of seeing um, nothing more, nothing less like science. Um, okay. Um, I will be finishing with the strength card mm, next next Monday. Um, and it's going to be there's just a small part to cover, and I'll move forward to the Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, and Hanged Man all together. And we'll see to squeeze in the Death card as well. Unfortunately, there are certain major arcana who take more than others. I'm trying to, to cut where I feel the information is not needed, is not necessary. Um, but with especially I feel with these two major arcana, with chariot and with the strength, because of what they represent, I feel it's important uh, to cover beats, all beats. Mm, okay. I thank you everyone for those who joined the live. Thank you everybody, and for those who eventually will watch the recording. Thank you to you as well. And as usual, thank you to Universal Spiritualism and Veronica Jenkins for allowing me to do this. And I hope you take what resonates with you, take what is useful to you, and leave and discard what you don't need. I'm learning with you. mm, that's for sure. Doing this, it's a learning curve for me as well. Um, for sure, I didn't know all the traditions and the meanings and the symbolism and that can be found in a tarot deck or an oracle readings. It's really a world uh, opening before me. So thank you everybody, and I'll see you on Saturday evening, 9 to 10 UK times for the mini readings. Thank you. Have a nice continuation of the day, the evening, the morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and see you on Saturday.